From an episode that won fans' hearts in literal minutes to another that got absolutely slammed for its dull and disappointing storyline, these are the most loved versus most hated regular show episodes of all time. Starting with Skip's story, which aired on April 14th, 2014. The episode opens with Mordecai and Rigby on Pops' roof. The duo, curious about Skip's immortality, ask him how he became immortal. Skips reluctantly agrees to share his story. Skips, then known as Wox, starts by recounting his teenage years at school, where he was known for fighting. He meets Gareth and the Guardians of Eternal Youth, who introduce him to their plan to defeat Clorgbane, a dangerous figure who terrorizes the school. Despite being offered the powerful fists of justice, Wox is reluctant to fight, especially after he meets Mona, a girl who dislikes fighting. He promises her he'll never fight again, and they bond over working on the prom decorations. And soon, Mona became the love of his life. But sadly, things take a turn when Clorgbane attacks him and his girlfriend. After a brutal fight, Clorgbane kills Mona. And Wox, fueled by rage, uses the Fist of Justice to defeat Clorgbane, sending him to the stratosphere. But Mona's death leaves Wox heartbroken. Years later, Gareth and the Guardians offer Wox immortality to help him fight Clorgbane every 157 years. Wox accepts, choosing the name Skips in honor of the time he spent with Mona. However, immortality comes with a heavy cost, losing loved ones over time. Mordecai and Rigby are deeply moved by Skip's tragic story. Rigby jokingly asks if Skips graduated high school, but Mordecai punches him. As the two leave, Skips looks like a locket containing a photo of him and Mona, shedding a tear before returning to work, showing the lasting impact of his past. This episode received the IMDb rating of 9.6, while touching many fans with the emotional storyline of Skips' life. A heartwarming yet tragic origin story about a fan favorite character. This episode is simply brilliant, from the beginning to the end. The episode is an absolute gem, 10 out of 10. How it wasn't even nominated for an Emmy, I will never know. Although Skip's story had fans throwing confetti, Baldspot had them dozing off with a meager 6.7 out of 10 IMDb rating. The episode kicks off at a slow pace with Muscleman and High Five Ghost at Cheap Cuts, where Muscleman gets a haircut from Tony. He's excited about his 1-year anniversary with Starla at the roller rink, but when Tony finishes, Muscleman spots a bald spot on his head. Fearing for some reason Starla won't love him anymore, he tries everything to cover it up. Novelty hats, comb-overs, and hair growth spray, but none of it works. Back at his trailer, Muscleman tells High Five Ghost that his hair and his muscles are all that he has. So he strangely decides to flex his man boobs all night to distract Starla from the bald spot. Surprisingly, it actually works, and Starla is totally distracted by his flexing. And that's where things went wrong. As soon as Muscleman stakes out, his hypnotic man boobs cause all the girls to chase after him. On top of that, the girls' boyfriends aren't happy, and a chaotic brawl breaks out. Seeing this, Starla becomes furious while confronting Muscleman, accusing him of flexing for other girls. Then, in a moment of honesty, Muscleman admits he's bald and reveals his bald spot, which breaks the spell and sends everyone away. But Starla, after being relieved, tells him she still loves him because it's what's on the inside that counts. She then spots stubble on his bald spot and realizes he's not going bald, he just got a bad haircut.
You're not going bald. You just got a bad haircut.
And that's how this episode ends. Even though it has a somewhat happy ending, fans didn't like it due to the strange and low stakes of the episode, and as a result, its ratings were tanked. But even though Bald Spot was a total buzzkill, Exit 9B lit up screens like a disco ball. The episode begins with the new intern Thomas witnessing chaos when a mysterious bearded man chases the park staff and shoots them with a stun gun. Mordecai and Rigby barely escape, with Rigby holding a crucial document and Mordecai using a time machine. The stranger laughs as he demolishes the house, leaving Thomas in shock. 2 months later, the park is now a construction zone for a freeway, and the staff's memories have been wiped.
I don't know you.
Mordecai and Rigby must get everyone to sign a document declaring the park a historical site to stop the project. They track down Skips, Pops, Muscleman, High Five Ghost, and Benson. Skips is now working at an auto body shop and is reminded of his lost love by Rigby. Pops works at a butterfly sanctuary, story and is jogged back into memory by a lollipop. Muscle Man, now a quantum physics professor, and High Five Ghost, now a pizza delivery guy, remembers after a high five. Meanwhile, Benson works for the mysterious bearded man, revealed to be Garrett Bobby Ferguson Jr., seeking revenge for his father's defeat in High Score. He plans to destroy everything Mordecai and Rigby love. The gang is captured and buried in cement by the Stranger's goons. Skip summons reinforcements, including Gary and the Guardians of Eternal Youth, and an epic battle breaks out. Mordecai and Rigby narrowly escape from Benson's giant digger, triggering his memory with their classic antics. Benson signs the document, but GBF Jr. threatens Thomas. In a twist, Thomas smacks him with coffee, and it's revealed that Mordecai and Rigby swap the document. Thomas signs it, saving the park and sending the villains back. This episode was a classic, showing all the park's enemies uniting and facing off. It was the ultimate battle, demonstrating how dangerous revenge can be. That's why it earned a staggering 9.7 rating overall, which is honestly insane. Unlike the jaw-dropping Exit 9B episode, The Longest Weekend had fans checking their watches. The episode begins at a rocky pace as the group goes on watching the cheesy movie The Longest Weekend. While the girls enjoy it, the guys think it's boring, much like the rest of this episode. Afterward, Starla wonders if they're taking their love for granted and decides that she and Muscleman should spend a weekend apart to prove their love. If Muscleman calls her, she'll dump him? The guys and girls separate, and Muscleman initially brags about it being easy, but quickly finds himself haunted by reminders of Starla, making him freak out. He turns to Mordecai, Rigby, and High Five Ghost for help staying away from her. They dispose of his phones and other means of contact to keep him distracted. At the coffee shop, Starla wonders why Muscleman hasn't called, but Margaret reminds her that she would dump him if he did. Starla admits she didn't mean it and believes that Muscleman should know the difference between when she's serious and when she's not. Back at the park, the guys play a game of Go Fish, but Muscleman quits and hides in his trailer. Mordecai talks with Margaret about the ridiculousness of the situation, concluding that if two people like each other, they should just be together. As the clock ticks towards midnight, Muscleman becomes more desperate and tricks Rigby into letting him go.
You don't have to worry. I don't have it in me to run away. Just let me hit the bathroom. I gotta use it.
All right, just for a minute.
Even though the park crew ties him up, as the time approaches, Muscleman and Starla both turn into fireballs racing toward the church. At midnight, they crash into each other in an explosion. The park crew checks on them, and they're fine, but Starla and Muscleman make out disgustingly, leaving Mordecai and Margaret agreeing never to invite them to the movies again. This episode was just incredibly boring, earning only a 6.7 IMDb rating, with fans disliking almost everything about it. Another boring Muscleman episode. And honestly, it's understandable, considering it included adult themes like emotional understanding and a kids show. It's a little hard for a 6-year-old to understand concepts like the reciprocation of love. Although this episode didn't meet expectations, the finale of the regular show was a complete turnaround. In an emotional rush, the park crew ends up in Lollyland, the magical birthplace of Pops and Anti-Pops. There, they meet the quirky locals, Frivola Kranus, Quadravi Kranus, and Weird Mushroom Guy. The crew learns that Pops and Anti-Pops' true names are Mega Kranus and Malum Kranus. The natives show the crew ancient tapestries depicting past battles where the crew fought alongside Pops, because apparently fighting against your evil brother is a family tradition. But despite all the epic battles, the universe always resets in an epic stalemate. Mordecai, ever the strategist, recommends setting traps for Anti-Pops. Unfortunately, Anti-Pops arrives in a ride-sharing Uber and isn't in the mood for peace talks. Pops tries to play the "we're brothers, come on" card, but Anti-Pops isn't having it. Traps are set, but they fail. Turns out traps are a lot more useful when they actually trap someone. However, part 2 sees Pops making a deal with Anti-Pops. First one to land a punch decides the fate of the universe. Pops manages to land a hit, but Anti-Pops, being the bad boy he is, breaks the deal and keeps fighting. Meanwhile, the crew, along with a weirdly eclectic mix of characters like HD DVD, Blu-ray, the Baby Ducks, and even Party House 42699, are fighting Anti-Pops' minions and the streaming modern. In a truly regular show fashion, Sure Shot blasts their ship into the Guardian of Lollyland Superman's elbow, and the team transforms with the baby ducks into Hyper Duck. It's as ridiculous as it sounds. The final blow comes when HD DVD and Blu-ray unleash their weapon, the 5.1 surround sound Shockwave, which sends Streaming Modern crashing to the ground. But just when they think they've won, Antipops transforms into a titan and starts erasing everything. Muscleman and High Five Ghost are zapped away, but not before Muscleman cracks the final "my mom" joke.
You know who else grows really big to show their dominance, but is actually really small deep down? My mom.
Because apparently, even in the face of destruction, that's still funny. Pops, enraged by the death of his friends, sacrifices himself and Antipops by flying into the sun. The brothers finally make peace, and their sacrifice erases the destruction they caused, bringing everyone back. 3 years later, the crew is back on Earth, reuniting with family, including Muscleman, who meets his 3-year-old daughter. Mordecai becomes an abstract artist, and Rigby shares his first kiss with Eileen. After 25 years, they all reunite for a photo by Pops' memorial statue. As they walk off, the screen fades to static and Pops' voice exclaims, "Jolly good show." Because, of course, that's how we end this wild ride. The show officially wraps up, leaving us all a little misty-eyed and still laughing at that "my mom" joke. This episode became the most beloved in the series with an IMDb rating of 9.8 as fans expressed their love for the characters and the heartwarming epic finale. The whole space season of regular show is very unique, despite being very different from usual seasons. A regular epic final battle part 3 is a sad episode while also being an amazing one. It's a nice way to finish off the series, plus the ending didn't seem like it was rushed, which only made it better. Best final I've ever seen in my life. Thank you so much for everything you have given me. I won't ever forget his impact it had on me. The comedy, characters, storytelling, I won't ever forget. Thank you so much. In the end, the episode sparked mixed reactions from fans worldwide, with some loving them and others hating the storyline. But no matter the plot, the fans' love for the characters remains unchanged. Want to see more of these crazy moments? Just keep watching the regular recap. Subscribe.